Simple interest. What is simple interest? Simple interest is the product of the principal P, the annual rate R, and the time T expressed in years. So the simple interest formula is I equals PRT, where I is the interest. And the principal is the amount invested, or the amount you start with, or the amount you deposit. The amount you paid for something is what you start with. Well, R is the rate, which is the interest rate, and the T is the time. And in the interest rate here, you change the percent to, guess what, guys? A decimal. All right, so let's look at our first problem. Arnold puts $580 into a savings account that pays 3% simple interest. How much interest will he earn after 1 year? So if we look at that formula, we've got I equals PRT. That's our formula. All right, and it says how much interest. So we're only looking for the interest. So he starts off with $580. His rate is 3%, so that's 0.03. And that's his rate. And his time for this particular problem is 1 year. And when you multiply all those together, you get an interest of $17.40. Okay? Now, this is the same information that we're using in problem 2, where I equals the PRT. But the time in this problem is different. We've got months. So for 6 months in our problem, we're going to put 6 over 12. Like that, okay? And our principal, once again, is 580. Our rate is 0.03. And what changed this time was our time. We're only doing 6 months out of the year. So we put 6 over 12. If it was 3 months, you would put 3 over 12. 8 months, 8 over 12, and so forth. And you put that in the calculator. If you had a calculator, you would put parentheses, if you got a parentheses, 6 divided by 12 and in parentheses in the calculator. Or if you know that 6 over 12 is 0.5, you could do 0.5. If you need help with that calculator, let me know. But if we multiply 580 times 0.03 times 6 over 12, we get the interest of $8.70. And another thing that you can be looking up, that's $8.70, is reasonability. The interest for 1 year was $17.40, so you know the interest for 6 months has to be less. So that's $8.70. I'm going to rewrite that because, yeah, that looks much better. So just be thinking of reasonability when you do that. Put the dollar sign back there. Okay, now down here in number 3, the Masters family financed a computer for $1,200. The interest rate is 19%. How much will the family owe for the computer after 1 month? So in this problem, you're going to add the amount plus the interest. So watch this one. We've got I equals PRT. All right, the principal is $1,200. The rate at 19% is 0.19. Change it to a decimal. And we've got 1 month. So we're going to put 1 over 12. And when we multiply those, we get 19. And then this is the $19. This is the interest. All right, if we want to find out how much we owe, it's the principal plus the interest. So our principal was $1,200 because that's what we started off with. Our interest was $19. So the amount that we're going to pay after the first month, oops, let me erase that, I can't add, is $1,219. So remember that if what you owe is the principal plus the interest. All right, and number 4, Samantha received a loan from the bank for $4,500. She plans on paying off the loan in 4 years, and she paid $900 in interest. What was the simple interest rate? So we know that our formula is I equals PRT. So our principal was $4,500. We don't know the rate because that's what it's asking us for. And our time is 4 years, but it did tell us that she paid $900 in interest. So what you would do in this problem is you would multiply the 4,500 times the 4 to get 18,000. And then the rate. And then you're back to one of your one-step equations like you have. And remember, we want the variables to be by themselves, so we would divide by 18,000 on both sides. This crosses out, and we're left with R equals 0.5, but that's a decimal, so we want to move it 2 places to the right. So the rate on that loan is 5%. All right, and number 5, Mr. Sprocket borrows $3,500 from his bank to buy a used car. The loan has a 7.4% annual simple interest rate. If it takes Mr. Sprocket 2 years to pay back the loan, what is the total amount he is paying? So that's going to be the interest plus the principal. So let's calculate the interest. I equals PRT. The principal is $3,500. The rate is 7.4, so we want to make it a decimal. 2 to the left, 0.74, and it's 2 years. So let's multiply those and calculate his interest. And if you multiply all of those, you get $518. His principal that he started off with was $3,500, because remember the principal plus the interest is the total cost, and his interest is $518. And if we add those together, we get $4,018 is what he pays after 2 years for that used car. Any questions? Please ask.